If you've played Terraria more than one time, then you know that NPC's happiness mechanic is boring. It's not dynamic, it's not engaging, it's not fun. It has the potential, but as of right now, in 1.4.5, it was never given any love and is currently being swept under the rug. So let's spit out some ideas and hope that real logic sees us. This is a follow-up on my last video on pylons. You guys were able to make very good points, and I want to give you some credit for it, as well as make my own suggestions. We are going to divide these ideas into two categories. The small ones that can happen in future patches, and the big ones that could be a part of bigger updates or mods. So let's start small. These suggestions don't require any core mechanics to be reworked, but they can help spice things up. Starting with, secret seeds should affect biome or neighbor preferences. Imagine that in For the Worthy Seed, everybody would like or even love hell, or in Celebration Mark 10, everybody won't have any negative feelings about each other. Drunk World can have random biome and neighbor preferences for everyone, but we'll get to that. Pros of that, it will be a bit more interesting to explore secret seeds. Most of you won't play them multiple times, so it would add a bit more content. Cons, it's getting more complicated when you mix different seeds, so it's not that simple to implement. Next one, traveling merchant prices should be affected by happiness. There are two ways to implement it. Make his discounts based on overall happiness of all NPCs, or just that one town that he came to. I personally prefer the latter, because it would encourage to make all towns somewhat happy, not just Goblin Tinkerer residents. You don't know where will he show up next, so it will be sad to see Lifeform Analyzer or Pad Thai overpriced. Overall happiness may affect the chances of his arrival, however. Pros of that gives just a little more purpose to make all NPCs happy. Cons? I don't know, maybe balance, but just balance it right. Next one on the list, shimmered versions of NPCs can have different biome and neighbor preferences. Pros? Just a bit more variety for different playthroughs, so you can adjust happiness better for different NPCs. Cons? It may make Goblin a bit too easier to make happy, so just don't touch him and his preferences. This rule goes to all of the suggestions. Goblin and his prices and the whole reforging system is another can of worms, let's not involve it in this video. And the last but not least, town pets and slimes should affect NPC's happiness both ways. Guide feels like a dog person to me. Party girl should like Diva Slime. Dryad should like every living creature. And a tax collector, I bet he hates them all. Or maybe he likes cats. There is plenty of more to add, but let's stop right here. Now it's time to go over some more complex ideas. Biome and neighbor preferences should be semi-random. Okay, this thing alone can save the whole happiness mechanic. With this change, it's going to be genuinely interesting in every playthrough. But this will require a new tool to look up NPC's preferences and current happiness. There is already a list of biome preferences in the bestiary, but it's missing liked and disliked biomes and neighbors. But even then, it's not enough. We need something more informative, like a table with current happiness, with everything that is affecting it. So, what's the challenge? To connect the dots? Are we playing an Excel file now? Answer to that is, this will make mechanic as complex as it should be. Add any more complexity and it will become unnecessarily hard. Remove the complexity and we end up in 1.4.5. This idea also implies a lot of hidden rules to keep the balance in the game. Amount of like biomes per NPCs, amount of NPCs that can like same biomes, and so on. Also, that implies that there is not going to be a solution on the wiki, which is both a good and a bad change. I don't think that preferences should be fully random, because that would imply that Goblin is going to cheat on mechanic in some parallel universe, and I don't think Relogic supports cheating. But seriously, I think it would be nice to have something universal. Like, for example, you know that everyone everywhere loves princess, but it will be a whole lot funnier to have them fully random. So maybe there is a chance to go hog wild in I Am Error Seed. Next idea, NPCs should have special interior preferences. Imagine that you can make NPC just a little bit happier by bringing them items they really want. You could ask them in the happiness dialog option what they would like to see in their room, or what they would really hate. Imagine bringing spidered chandelier to arachnophobic. Hilarious. Pros of this feature would be more depth to existing decorations in the game, giving them gameplay purpose outside of being pretty. And the way of getting them is mostly different from one another, so it will be kind of fun to do these little quests. What are the cons? This can easily become really annoying. Starbound tenants have this feature, and their quests on house improvement are very boring once you do them multiple times. So to avoid this feature becoming an eye roller, it should be completely voluntary, not a big deal, just a nice bonus, and only one per NPC. There is also maybe a problem with accessibility. NPCs shouldn't ask for something that is really rare or inaccessible at the time of their arrival. Master builders can argue that this may have a negative effects on their buildings. But first of all, the ability to work around the obstacles is called creativity. Second of all, eco-coating. And to our last idea. All of the current discussion is centered around this part of the mechanic, leaving this one crucially underviewed. Let me make a comparison. In one of my most loved modes for Terraria, Starlight River, there is an interesting accessory called the Casual Mirror. Its effects are very simple. Regeneration and damage over time switch their places. With the mirror equipped, you are constantly losing HP because of natural regeneration, and being on fire or poisoned heals you. Now, everything bad is good and vice versa. This item alone flips your whole playthrough upside down. One day I want to make a series with this thing permanently. Now let's take it back to our topic. What if there was a profit in making NPCs unhappy? The easiest implementation of this will be mood walling. Imagine if unhappy merchant will sell overpriced poo blocks. Hilarious. And also useful for builders. Clothier might sell bones. Witch doctor, beehives. The list goes on. But this should be added very carefully, constantly looking over skyblock and trying not to break it. Also, NPCs can gain armor and damage when they're unhappy, like tough times create strong people kind of thing. You could go even crazier. Imagine if there was an energy vampire transformation, turning you into a monster. For every unhappy NPC in your world, you get a stat boost. The drawbacks? You can't use pylons, and most of the NPCs are afraid of you. Some are even hostile, like arms dealer. In order to de-aggro him, you need to throw a nail. And you can go back by simply pressing R. You need to do something very specific, like making them all happy again, or I don't know, defeat all 3 mechanical bosses while holding your breath. Cons of this, it's going to be hard to balance and hard to implement to multiplayer. I feel the potential in engaging with the other side of happiness, but I still didn't come up with that one idea. Just imagine, everyone hates you and the prices are through the roof, but you gain something else so powerful that it's worth it. I don't know, maybe you have that idea. Now I know what you're thinking. Last video I was talking about how engaging and complex happiness mechanic is, so am I a hypocrite for calling it boring this time? Yes. Before I started making videos, I never engaged with Terraria community outside of several YouTubers. I didn't see an issue with happiness because I mostly play by myself. But after the last video, I've changed my mind a little. I never thought that happiness is something that needed to be changed, but I would love it to become better. Alright, if I missed something, feel free to point it out in the comments. See you next time.